Have you ever noticed how anger ruins what we're trying to protect, while a calm mind quietly saves it? In a quiet neighborhood lived a man named Victor. Victor was known for many things. He was hardworking, he kept his house neat, and he was extremely proud of the small garden behind his home. That garden meant everything to him. There were rows of roses, bright tulips, and delicate white flowers that bloomed every spring. Every morning before leaving the house, Victor watered each plant carefully, and every evening after work he walked slowly through the garden, checking every leaf and bud. To Victor, the garden was more than just plants. It was his pride. But Victor had one weakness. He had a very quick temper. If someone walked too close to his fence, he shouted. If a neighbor's dog stepped onto the grass, he became furious. If children played near the street outside his house, he immediately told them to leave. People in the neighborhood respected Victor, but they also knew something else. It was better not to upset him. Next door lived an older man named Samuel. Samuel also had a garden, but Samuel was very different. Children sometimes ran near his fence, birds sat on his plants, even neighborhood cats wandered through his yard. And Samuel never seemed bothered. He simply smiled and continued watering his plants. One warm afternoon, Victor came home earlier than usual. As he approached his house, he heard laughter. A group of children were playing near the street beside his garden. They were running, tossing a ball, and laughing loudly. Victor immediately felt irritation rising inside him. He walked quickly toward the fence. "Hey!" he shouted. The children froze. "What are you doing here?" "We're just playing," one of them said nervously. Victor pointed angrily toward the street. "Go play somewhere else and stay away from my garden." The children quickly picked up their ball and ran down the road. Victor watched them leave and felt satisfied. Now his garden would finally be safe from trouble. Days passed. Victor continued watering his plants every morning like always. But slowly he began noticing something strange. The flowers didn't look as healthy as before. Some leaves began to curl. Some buds dried before opening. Victor frowned. Maybe the soil needed more nutrients? He added fertilizer. He watered the plants even more carefully. But the garden didn't improve. In fact, it seemed to grow weaker. Meanwhile, something else caught Victor's attention. Samuel's garden next door was blooming beautifully. Bright colors, fresh green leaves, more flowers than ever before. Victor couldn't understand it. They had the same weather, the same sunlight, the same type of soil. So why were Samuel's flowers thriving while his own were slowly fading? The question kept bothering him. Finally, one evening, Victor walked over to Samuel's fence. "Samuel," he said, "I don't understand something." Samuel looked up from his watering can. "My garden is dying," Victor said, "but yours is flourishing. What are you doing differently?" Samuel looked quietly toward Victor's yard. Then he asked a simple question. "Do the children still play near your fence?" Victor shook his head. "No. I chased them away a few days ago." Samuel nodded slowly. Then he said something that made Victor pause. "That explains it." Victor frowned. "What do you mean?" Samuel smiled gently. "Every afternoon while they played, the children used to run along your fence." Victor looked confused. Samuel continued. "They often splashed water from their bottles while playing. In the hot afternoon, that little bit of water kept the soil near your plants moist." For a moment, Victor stood very still. Suddenly, he remembered. The laughter, the running footsteps, the small splashes of water hitting the ground. Without realizing it, The children had been helping his garden survive the hottest part of the day, and the moment Victor chased them away, that help disappeared. For a long moment, Victor said nothing. He had believed he was protecting his garden, but his anger had driven away the very thing that helped it grow. The next afternoon, Victor walked down the street where the children were playing again. This time, his voice was quiet. "Hey," he said. The children looked at him carefully. Victor hesitated, then smiled. "I think my garden misses your games." One of the children tilted his head. "Really?" Victor nodded. "Yes. And I think I owe you an apology." The children smiled and ran back toward the fence. Soon the street was filled with laughter again. And that evening, for the first time in many days, Victor noticed something hopeful. A small flower bud had begun to open again. Because anger often convinces us we are protecting what matters, but many times anger only pushes away the very things that help life grow and flourish, and in the end, the calm mind is the one that truly wins.